and John, how did you guys meet each other, and when did you start training together? So whoever wants to start with
I'll
that one.
take that. John used to train at Westside for a short period of time, and one of his off seasons going back into the 90s, I believe.
95, 96, actually
Yeah,
94,
yeah.
95.
Can you talk about your time at Westside briefly there, John?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to build my upper body up because my legs were way ahead of my upper body, and Mike Francois was going there as well. And I always liked powerlifting, and the powerlifters that I knew were generally, pretty big guys. And I liked what I read about Louis, so I went over there to get a bigger upper body, and I really liked competing. Unfortunately, I did one contest. I did a competition in Toledo, which I won. But I was probably only there a couple years. I started having some elbow problems. We were moving the bar down on my back because when I came there, I squatted with a real high bar,
Yeah.
almost with a vertical spine. And then we started moving the bar down my back and my elbows and my wrists out, and it was literally destroying my elbows. So I kind of got away from it, and I just never came back. But my elbows is really why I stopped going there. So that's actually how I met Dave.
I reached out to John years later because I was crazy busy with the stuff that I was doing. I'd went through, the dieting with Justin, and I worked with Shelby for a little bit. And it wasn't so much about the dieting, it's just training-wise. I saw an article that he wrote. Hell, it may have even been for our site. But I read some of it, and I really liked what he was saying because I don't want to say it resembled Westside, but there were things in there that made a lot of sense. Train the hamstrings before you squat. It's like, okay, I used to do glute ham raises before I squatted. It made a big difference. So I reached out to him and basically hired him. Like, this was before he had the programs that he's putting out now. They used to be old school programs, that he would send. And I did not want to have to think about my training, but I didn't want to give my training, because even with Justin and Shelby and everybody else, I took care of my training. So giving my training over to somebody else was a huge leap of faith. And I didn't want to do that to somebody who I didn't at least have remembered training with or agree with the philosophy with. And called and talked to him and said, let's do this. And so he started writing the training, and he understood the importance that I was going to have to modify things, so other people, I'm sure, if I would have contacted, would have been like a little weird about that kind of shit. And then he started coming out on a Saturday to train. I think one leg workout or whatever it was. We have the same training philosophy of just, if we're going to be in there, just fucking destroy it. And it was kind of like a clash of titans that just kind of correspond, worked really well. Because the training intensity was through the roof, which I've always loved that. I've always kind of done that. He's always kind of done that. And then you put it together. And then for me, I find out, his backstory a little bit more, and that he wanted the pro card. And I'm like, I want to be a part of this journey somehow. Like, how can I be a part of this? Because this is cool. This is really kind of what bodybuilding is about. It's what powerlifting is about. It's not an underdog story. It's just, I know what it's like to try so hard to get something and miss, and then try and miss and try and miss. And while I'm not going to say I live vicariously through anybody, it was just really cool to be a part of that journey and seeing it happen. And from that, we developed a friendship. But also from that, he really pissed me off when he didn't retire, which after turning pro. But as I said it once before, I understand why. I understand the mentality behind that. But I still don't like that. But it worked out okay.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.